let's take a trip and hop into some gangster shit with me. 13 caps for the niggas who wanna get with me. Get at me, niggas emptying off clips at me. Wanna put some hoes and some motherfucking rips in me. But I don't give a fuck, I just stay strapped and be a soldier about that shit when it comes to peeling the caps, nigga. So won't you get
What's up, y'all? This SlabOgsTV back at it again. Today we got another OG out of 5th Ward. You know what I'm saying? Gonna tell y'all about the Slab when he was coming up. Gonna tell y'all about 5th Ward, how this green kind of started off, you know, and you know, just basically give you his story. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, introduce yourself for the viewers.
This how we started the shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the way around. You had to have some belts on the trunk, grill. If your insides wasn't done, you ain't done nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're gonna jump on off up into this here. I got some other shit we're gonna take care of, but let's go.
Already, man. Can you just, you know, kind of tell the viewers how it was growing up in 5th Ward? You know, what side of 5th Ward you from? You know, 5th Ward kind of a big neighborhood.
I mean, Liberty Road in Waco. Right there where them hard heads, all the hoeing and dope dealing and pimps and players come up at, slab riders. You know, just motherfuckers out there trying to make a way.
Yeah. And what was so, like, what made 5th Ward so infamous back in the day? Because you always hear, like, stories, you know, how rough and rugged 5th Ward was back then. Like, what made it just so, you know, if you ain't from over here, you know, you really can't be over here.
I'm not gonna say I don't know how to answer that question. I'm gonna answer it the best way I can. I mean, it was like that when I was riding the bus, going to school, elementary. I just seen what I seen and just adapted to it. I can only tell you what everybody else can tell you, you know? It's the bloody nickel.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speculate or add, take away from it. I can only tell you what everybody else gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Just another hood, you know?
Yeah. And who was some of, you know, when I do my interviews, you know, some people speak about 5th Ward, but, you know, from your eyes, you know, growing up, who was like some of the people that, you know, you seen kind of putting them cards together in the early days, you know, the 80s, the 90s, out of 5th Ward?
Shit, it go way back to Big Tack, Big Keith off of Crane Street. Boys over there in Coke Apartment and Kelly Court. You know, I used to ride the bus back going to elementary school just looking at players like this. And back then it was just a little boy's dream. But I always told myself I want one of them.
Yeah.
I want one of them. Some kind of way I'm gonna give me one of them. I just gotta get in with everybody else and see how this shit is being done.
Yeah.
And in order to do it, you had to be a gangster. You had to be a gangster. You just wasn't finna put no slab together and you just a nerd running around with big glasses on. You had to be a gangster.
Yeah. And what was that one car that kind of stuck out to you, like from like probably when you was teenager, you know, a little bit younger, that one car that stuck out to you? What was it? You know what I'm saying? Coming down the street. Yeah.
Candy red on 84s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to see this cat every day. I catch the Metro bus going to school every day. Park big old clean ass Cadillac out there on 84s pimping.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pimp, but I wanted one of them cars though.
Yeah.
I wanted one of them cars.
So would you say kind of like back then it was more so like a pimp ride? Is that where the Slab kind of came from?
Basically, because they started out with the Cadillacs. You know, Cadillacs, Deltas, Buicks, old shit like that, you know? Old shit like that. And everybody had some kind of spoke rims on it. You know, them spoke rims started to play, and then they went into the 83 and 84 thing. They started out them spoke rims back in the early 90s. 91, 92 is when the elbows came along back in the early 90s, but it was spoke rims.
Somebody told me, like, kind of like back in the day, like on the north side of Houston, it was more so kind of like hot rods people was riding too before the Slab. Is that true?
I'm gonna speak only so much about that because yeah, they was out there, but I wasn't interested. When I seen them, I was turning my head. I wanted me a Cadillac on some nice wheels with a fifth on it. You know, I was stuck on that. Yeah, them hot rods, they was out there, but I wasn't paying attention to them like I was when I seen them pimps and OGs out there in them Cadillacs. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want, one of them. I'm gonna give me one.
Do you remember your first set of wheels that you came up on? You know, like how old was you? You know, what was that feeling?
Oh man, my first set of rims was crazy. I followed me a motherfucker for them, you know. Back then, the old folks didn't know what they was riding on. Cadillacs came with 83s and 84s on them. Cadillacs did. Old people was riding them. White folks was riding them with a fifth wheel, and they didn't know we want them. We want them. And I see how these niggas was getting them because they wasn't selling them in the stores like that. You had to go and take them. You know, the first, when them niggas started riding them 84s and 83s like that, they wasn't going in the stores and buying them.
Yeah.
They were taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be a gangster. You had to be able, they was taking them back then. 91, 92. Yeah, they were taking them. They was to be bought from somebody who done took them from somewhere. When they were taking them left and right.
Yeah.
You had to put you a ticket in to get you some.
Yeah. And, you know, going back to Fifth Ward, when you speak up on, you know, people taking the rims, you know, stealing for the rims, a neighborhood that always come up is Rosewood that was stealing them. But was Fifth Ward kind of like, was it kind of circulating around Fifth Ward too?
Pretty much the same way, but Rosewood was notorious for it. You know, they was notorious. They set a trend over there though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing but respect for a bunch of them cats over there. When Stupid Tim come up, back off up in now, you know, him and Fish, cats like that in the early 90s, you know, they set a real trend back there. I looked up to a bunch of the shit that they was doing and how they was riding, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't give a damn about them wheels. They gonna take them and put them on police cars and steal police cars and shit like that. I know you done heard some stories about them.
Yeah, I done heard some stories about that.
Yeah, they take them and put them on police cars and then take pictures and then set the car on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were notorious, man.
Damn. So, you know, what was kind of like the slab spots though, like just the spots back then that everybody would go to? You know, nowadays everybody go to Lower Copper, go to MLK. You know, it used to be Carol's people would go to, but they kind of stopped there. Where was everybody going back then?
But it's always been MLK. Always. When I was little, it was MLK. I used to go out there just to watch them. It was MLK, but Chocolate Town was real motherfucking notorious. You know, if you're going up there on your wheels, you're going to Chocolate Town.
Yeah.
I forgot the other name of these little old spots, man. It's just been so long ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's levels to this shit. You know, after you pass on, you just pass on. And some shit you just forget about, you know?
I heard about it was one spot everybody used to go to back in the day. I think it was on Homestead, Gucci's.
Back down, is it Charlemagne? No, it was Charlemagne. It was Gucci, Charlemagne, Gucci, Chocolate Town, and I forgot the other little spot.
Yeah.
On the south side, right on the side of the freeway.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell it to you. I done forgot it though, man. Like I said, it's been a long time for me.
Yeah. You got any like infamous stories from back then, you know, pulling up in the slabs out there and, you know, just any story that you could just remember being out there on the weekend?
I mean, it was just all gangster shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing friendly about it back then. It was all gangster shit. You goddamn, you didn't ride and cut niggas off like, you know, like it's doing now. It was medium, but not like it is now. But when they get out, they're getting out with that hammer. Getting out with that hammer. And so a bunch of my partners, man, get followed, get gunned down in the parking lot of Carroll Road, get gunned down in the parking lot of fucking Chocolate Town. On that back street back there, and what's the name of that hood we were just talking about? Rosewood?
Rosewood.
Back there, that dark-ass street back there, man. I can't, it's a dark-ass street back there somewhere. I just can't pinpoint it, but I watched a lot of them, man, fucking with them wheels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking with them wheels, but hey, I can't take nothing from them little niggas that's riding them. I know the history behind them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And, man, you know, I already done interviewed, you know, the GreenLine from Fontaine, the GreenTeam from Fifth Ward, from your, you know, history and your, you know, being there when it kind of started. Who started the GreenTeam, riding green? Because I know it was in Fifth Ward, but who started it?
To be honest with you, it wasn't in Fifth Ward. We got a hold to two more guys. I can't. It's been a long time, man. I think they was twins from Rosewood.
Might have been Fontaine.
Fontaine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can't remember them cats' names.
Yeah.
But we collaborated with them cats. They had two green ones, and then we did two green ones over here in Fifth Ward, and it just took off from there.
Yeah.
Me and Dee and them two cats over here in Fontaine. It's been a long time since I've seen them. I know they done growed old.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember them niggas' names.
Yeah, I did an interview with them, a whole Fontaine interview I did with them.
Yeah, with them two niggas right there.
Yeah, okay. And man, you just spoke up on Dee out of Fifth Ward. Who was Dee and Sean?
How should I put it? Real legendary. I mean, Dee, Green Fleetwood, Sean Gold Fleetwood, and a lot of niggas looked up to him. A lot of niggas looked up to him back in the early game.
Yeah.
You know, laid back cats, didn't do Didn't start no trouble.
Yeah.
Just knew how to have money and make it look good,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I got with DD.
And what was some of the cars that you was pulling out, you know, during this time?
Man, I went from a Candy Green Buick to the STS Cadillac to that Lunema right there. You know, I just moved along with it until my time came to an end. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. What made you kind of stop riding Slab?
When you're younger, you don't realize the danger. You realize it, but you just don't give a damn about it. But once you start to get older, you start to pay attention to a little bit more. You know, the money I invested in them cars would have bought me 2-3 houses back then. That prices, the way prices was on houses back then, you know? It was just a danger with that versus living it on out now. You know, which way you're gonna invest your money. And the bank is not gonna give you nothing for this. You know, but it's fun while it lasts, don't get me wrong. We all gonna have fun and wanna have fun, but then you got to start thinking about the bigger picture after the fact. Really, before it come down to the end, you gotta start thinking what's next. You know, it was just time. You know, you're gonna know when it's time.
So would you say, like, a Slab rider, you putting $20,000 into your car, you need to have your priorities together?
Right. And now, with the mind frame that we got now and the way the economy is set up, you know, you can't tell a lot of these guys that, just like you couldn't tell me that back then, so I still applaud them. I just tell them what I didn't know back then. You know, I run down on a bunch of them and I tell them, the money that you're spending right now, stop and start thinking about a little piece of property. You can't take this here to the bank, but you can take that to the bank. Slow down. I'm not taking that fun away from you, but think both ways and not just one way, because I thought both ways and I jumped out before it got too late and end up putting that car to the side, and the money I spent on that car, I was like, damn, I just spent $60,000 on this car. Well, damn, the first house I run across was $51,000. Go to the bank any day of the week. I can go to the bank with that. You know, a lot of them just don't think. I didn't think, so I'm not knocking them. I just like to give them what I didn't have, you know, in game-wise.
Yeah. And when you talk about the Slab, you know, it's not just, you know, the Cadillac or whatever. It's all about having everything together. You know, you having your truck, having your house, you know what I'm saying, having your phone outside, you know. It's all about priorities. So anybody that's watching this channel, you know, watching this video, you know, you trying to build a car, you know, you got to at least have your priorities together too.
Yeah, and you got a lot of them that's young. A lot of them not gonna have their priorities together. 70% of them not. But ain't nothing wrong with that, because I didn't. I growed into it, listening to cats who did it before me. Told me the same thing that I'm sitting there telling you. The money that you're spending on that car, when that car's long and gone, that property is still gonna be there, and the bank gonna always be willing to talk to you about it. You can never go wrong. You know, so I'm not saying they need to. Just start thinking about it, because they, you know how these youngsters is nowadays. I was the same way, so I'm not knocking them. I was the same way. A lot of them ain't gonna never get it together. A lot of them is. I applaud both sides, you know. Some don't know, some do. Some get it, some don't. What can I say?
Yeah, already, man. So, you know, from you seeing, you know, the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s, what was the street saying when Texas Wild Wheels, the new rims, came into fruition?
Say that again?
Like when, you know, by you seeing, you know, back in the day before, you know, when you couldn't just have wheels like that, they wouldn't just, you know, people didn't have access to them, and then you got this company coming and making the wheels. What was the streets kind of saying when the new wheels came out?
Well, it's gonna always be something to be said about something. You know, without conversation, what is there? Without people dropping salt, what do we have? Without rumors, what do we have? It's gonna always be something to be said, so I don't knock them. You got you a set of them. Let's see what you do with the car now. That car is what's gonna dictate the type of rim that you can ride. You going on through with that car, put your $3,000-$4,000 worth of can of paint on that car, do that interior, knock that trunk out, pop it, put your wheel and grill on there. Texas Wild Wheels didn't mean nothing. They didn't mean nothing, because back then it was about them girls and the fame that came with it. Them girls don't know the difference between Texas Wild Wheels and regular 84s. Half these niggas don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm from the old school. I couldn't tell you the difference. All you're gonna do is change the cap up on the outside. Them Texas Wild Wheels got a big old TW on them. on the cap. Take
Yeah.
that cap off and put a regular cap on there. Who gonna know the difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah. You right. Man, when did kind of like the slab kind of change from where it was just a basic car, you know, basic paint to candy paint, belts, bumper kit, you know, you putting neons in your lights. When did all that kind of change?
That shit flipped in probably what 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 2000 is when that shit flipped.
Mm-hmm.
When one motherfucker did it. These niggas on the southwest side. It was it's been a long time, man.
Was it
Southwest Gorillas.
Southwest Gorillas.
Southwest Gorillas was the first niggas that I seen, and they were back in 2001, 99, 2001. Them niggas from Southwest Gorillas. Them niggas came through and they came through hard.
Yeah.
Came through deep. Put them trunks in the air, and they all, cause back then when we was doing it over here in Fifth Ward, we didn't have nothing in them trunks. You can see them woofers just laid out there in a big old wooden box.
Yeah.
Them niggas came through and they came through hard. So a lot of us stepped our game up.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at niggas like that out there,
Yeah.
we stepped our game up. We ain't had no other choice.
Yeah. And even with your Lumina, you know, you had bags on it, butterfly doors. Were you kind of like the first one in Fifth Ward to do that?
The first.
Mm-hmm.
You go through, you do. I mean, and I'm not bragging. I'm not taking nothing from nobody. But I was the first nigga in Fifth Ward to raise them doors up on their car. And then I turned around and had so much fun doing it. I did the back doors too.
Yeah.
Just fucking around, just being different, you know?
Yeah.
Till you can't do nothing else to the car. I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah.
You know, you don't put, if you're gonna spend that kind of money on the inside of a car, you don't tint the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And tell a lot about you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That mean your insides ain't right.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And you got some niggas that do, that just want to be incognito because they, you know, the little girl, besides they girl in the car.
Mm-hmm.
But if you tint them windows, you hiding something.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, if you put you a couple thousand on the inside of that car, who's gonna hide it?
Mm-hmm. Where did the bags come from? Because, you know, you got lowriders out there, you know, got hydraulics. Why did the streets not really go towards hydraulics? They went to bags.
Hydraulics was more of a Hispanic thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was more of a Hispanic thing. We just wanted to be different. We didn't want all that oil and batteries because we want woofers and shit in our trunks. You know what I mean? We want neon lights and woofers and all kind of amps laid around, and you can't do that with hydraulics. But like I said, hydraulics was a Hispanic thing. When bags came out, we took bags from Cadillac and Lincoln, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
When these little shops start selling them, saying we can put them on your car and this and that. So we tried it. And we just took off from there.
Yeah.
Hispanics, hydraulics, blacks, airbags. That's simple.
Yeah. Man, let's say you know, just got $1 million to just spend on a car. What would you say your perfect slab would be?
The way I'm thinking right now,
Yeah.
my perfect slab, that right there.
The truck.
Yeah, that right there.
Okay.
I don't think I can go back to the old days.
Yeah.
I just, nah, you put too many people in danger, you know, because you still got knuckleheads out there that'll try to take that shit, you know?
Yeah.
My family in the car, my kids in the car. You think about that now, you know? I ain't got time to be looking over my shoulder with my kids in the car, you know?
Yeah.
Which my kids are grown, but nah, I ain't got
Yeah.
time to be sitting at a red light and a nigga done jumped out of the car on the side of me with a pistol.
Yeah.
So I can't say what my perfect slab would be right now in this day and age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of OGs done told me that. So would you say like a slab, the slab game is kind of like a young man's game?
Right. There's levels to it, you know? When you get up out of it, you don't want to go back to it, you know? You get up out of it, and if you do go back to it, I can't even answer that question because it never even crossed my mind. Hell, I'll put some swingers on that
Yeah.
before I fix a goddamn car up all over again.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't picture that.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy, man. Yeah. There's a lot of game in this interview right here. Man, what's your thoughts on the slab today?
I respect them. I mean, if I told you anything other than that, it'll just be some old hating ass shit. I respect them. I done it. You know, I just be careful, do what you do. There's a lot of problems come with that. You go to swinging, you hit somebody else's car, the chances are they're gonna want to jump out with a pistol or go to doing this and doing that. Just a lot of drama that come with it. And I can tell you that because I was a part of the drama. I still gotta respect them. because they want to have fun and do what I done, because I'm the same way. You can't tell me nothing, just like you can't tell them until you grow older.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to be able to tell somebody what I'm telling them right now, you know? So a lot of problems come with it. A lot of problems, from the police to the other niggas out here on the streets that want what you got, to your girl, and farther down the line is probably be a little financial thing, because you're not going to make the same money you was making then. Shit changes.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. It changes.
Yeah.
You spend you $30,000-$40,000 on a goddamn car in a couple months' time, but you don't think about that with a house. They be reluctant. They finna go and buy tennis shoes and chains, and it's just. But I respect them though.
Yeah.
I respect them.
Yeah. You seen any of the green cars, the GreenTeam that's out right now?
I respect them. I like them.
Yeah.
You know, they taking off. They treading their own path. You know, me and other cats, we laid the path, and they treading it. And I see them. I holler at them every other day. You know, I talk to them. Man, be careful, man. Don't. But they still gonna do what they're gonna do. But I like to be there to give them a little insight. I respect them to the fullest.
Yeah. Already. My last question I like to ask on all my interviews: top 5 greatest slabs that you just seen.
Oh, I gotta give it up to my boy Keith. Keith over there on Crane Street. Keith down there on Crane Street. Daddy Rich on Hardy Street. Daddy Rich, yeah, he go way back with it.
Yeah.
And old Meat out of South Park.
Okay.
You know, cats like that had the speakers in the cars with the microphones and the bullhorns in the front of the car. Ride by, popping the trunk, popping the top on it. Get off the dick. I know y'all watching. I see y'all watching. Get off the dick. Everybody be like, what the fuck? You know, he got a microphone in the car, big old horn, and
Yeah.
South Park, Hardy Street, Crane Street, Keith.
Yeah.
Some of the cats that I always looked up to when I was coming up, the way they did it, and I wanted to do it just like them, and I did it. I made it up out there. A lot of cats don't make it out. A lot of them don't. They let them cars dictate their past and their future. And that's wrong. The past, you don't bring it into the future. I don't think about the past. Like I said, there's levels to it. I left that back there. Go from that, on up. And if you can make it out of it, then you gotta know, I won.
Yeah.
Find me something else to do that's gonna be a lot more meaningful towards me and the family.
Yeah.
You know, because that car was just me. Me and my son, we act our ass, riding down the seawall, hitting the button, doors pop open, go up in the air. My other son hitting his button, dropping the car in the back, hitting his button, popping the trunk. We act our ass.
Yeah.
Now they grown, and I made it. Me and them, I made it. I put them in harm's way a lot. Wasn't thinking it was all about that car, but we made it. I can't go back to them days.
Yeah. Damn. It's a lot of game in this interview, man. You got any shout outs you want to, give, or, anything you want to tell the youth that's out there right now?
Who that?
Or any shout outs you want to give, or just anything you want to tell the youth that's out there right now?
All my little GreenLine homies, them niggas know who they is. Y'all niggas just stay real and stay out the way. And just know it's better days coming after that slab shit. Even while you riding that slab shit, think of what's next. Not just the next set of wheels you're going to put on now. Think of what's next. House, family, a little something in the bank. Think about that shit. Everything that you put on that car, I'm not knocking you, but a lot of it, piece it out. A little bit here, a little bit for the bank. If you can put it on that car, you can put a little in that bank. Watch how I look at the end.
Yeah. Already, man. There's a lot of game in this interview, man. The SlabOgsTV. Got an OG up in here. We out.